Hey guys, Russ Whitney. Welcome back to our series of 10 training sessions. And today we're going to talk a little bit about prorating. And this one is really critically important, especially as you start growing. And I learned this early on. By using prorating, we use a mathematical formula and just the characteristics of about how real estate works to either reduce or minimize down payments to nothing. You know, what's interesting is, as I've taught over the years, trained literally tens of thousands of people on how to get to their financial independence using real estate, we often talk about little or no money down. And I think the naysayers or the skeptics, they easily go right to the negative saying, oh, you can't buy for no money down. Well, listen, no money down doesn't necessarily mean that the seller doesn't get money. What it means is it's none of our money. And if those naysayers had just a little bit of a hang to it to them and hung in to get some of the information, it's usually the skeptics that get it quickest, because this makes a lot of sense. I'll give you an example. Whenever we buy a property, we always arrange the closing for the third day of the month. Okay, so let's say I'm going to buy anything from a duplex on up. I always want to close on the third day of the month. Why? On the first of the month, the seller owns the property. Rents are paid in advance, so the seller has to collect the rents. Does that make sense? Yes. 2 days later, on the 3rd, ownership transfers to me. Now, I'm going to own this property from the 3rd to the 30th and then on. Well, if I'm going to own the property from the 3rd to the 30th and rents are paid in advance, shouldn't those rents from the 3rd to the 30th be paid to me? And the answer is yes, they should. And here's how it works. So I'm going to take a building. Let's say I take a 5-unit building. And let's say the rents, let's take rents, are $2,000 a month, okay? So now, if I close on the 3rd day of the month, here's how I figure this out. The rents for all the units, okay, or whatever that comes out to, $450 a month, whatever it might be. So the rents, gross rents on all 5 units are $2,000. Let's take that and we divide that by 30 days in a month. And I believe that gives me about $66, okay? So $2,000 actually equals $66 a day is $2,000 a month, and thereabouts. I'm averaging here. So now, if we take the $66 times 27, I don't have, that's about $1,800. All right, now, so what that means is the seller has to pay me $1,800 at the closing. Even though I'm buying the property, the seller has to pay me $1,800. Now, if there's $1,800 in rent, how much do you think there is in security deposits? Generally, it's a month's rent, a month's security. So if rents are $2,000, this means the seller has to also give me the security deposits. So although I'm buying the property, I'm going to get $3,800 back at the closing. Now, in this particular case, I was buying this property. This is a real example, by the way. I was buying this property. My down payment was $7,500. He's going to pay me $3,500 at the closing. So I really have to only come up with $4,000 to close this. Is that right? Is that right? Yes, that is. So in other words, half my down payment is coming back to me, and I get credit for the entire $7,500. Now, take this if you're buying a 10-unit, 20 or 30-unit building where you got you might have a $50,000 a month rent roll or something like that. I could offer up $25,000, $30,000 and literally come up with no money down. And I get paid at the closing, so I offset the entire down payment. Now, guys, there's a lot of other little tips and tricks to this, but it's important that you understand the big picture, that this works virtually at every closing. I don't even have to negotiate for this. These types of prorations are done right on the closing statement. Now, some people might say, of course, the skeptics, well, the seller, why is the seller going to do it? Most sellers have no clue. Most sellers have no clue. I'm arranging the date to my best advantage because I'm a sophisticated investor, and that's what I'm supposed to do. So, guys, just add this up with about 100 more tips and strategies that are real life, and you can quickly see how we can get those 100% returns on the money, how we can quickly get to financial independence, how we can quickly get to that $3,000 to $5,000 a month coming in that we know we can count on and start to build our financial futures. So guys, this is fun stuff for me to be able to share some of these great strategies with you. Until next time, Russ Whitney signing off.